Hello everyone! Are you a landlord or perhaps a property manager? Are you perhaps just someone who likes to see how SFIC works? Well, this video is for you. So, do you find that perhaps you are constantly struggling to have to go ahead and manage hundreds of different keys for all the properties you probably have to manage? Are you a landlord perhaps that has a lot of units that has to manage so many different keys and find it so annoying? Do you find also that every single time, let's say there's an emergency or such, you have to go back to your office, look for that one key for that one property out of hundreds of properties you may own, and it just takes way too long for you to go ahead and do it? Do you find perhaps even that having to manage all of the keys, all of a sudden sometimes the keys get lost? And when there's some sort of an emergency, you have to call a locksmith over to pick the lock or do something like that, and you find that you have to pay so much money for these after-hours costs. Or perhaps you even drill the locks yourself, and every single time there's a lock change that's being done, you have to pay a lot of money to go ahead and get the lock changed because you're buying a brand new lock every single time. Well, the small format interchangeable core system is perfect for you. Let me explain why. The small format interchangeable core system, let's begin with this. This is something that can be used in every setting you can think of. You can put it in padlocks, you can use it to work with storefronts, you can put it in a deadbolt, you can put it into a doorknob, a mortise lock, even a door lever. Anything that you can think of, you can use this wonderful system. But let me explain a little bit more as to why this system can really answer a lot of questions. Well, first thing here is this. Maybe you're finding that you have to manage so many different keys and it's very, very difficult every time you have to go ahead and gain access to a property for whatever reason. Well, let me introduce to you the master keying capabilities of these wonderful locks. The beautiful thing about these locks here is this. So, let's say I have this lock over here. This is going to be in Unit A. Unit A's key will work beautifully in their lock. However, let's say you have Unit B over here. Unit B is going to have their own key as well, and you'll find Unit B's key will actually work perfectly in their lock as well. However, Unit B's key will never work for Unit A, and Unit A's key will never work in Unit B, and Unit A's key will for sure never work in anyone else's lock over here. However, of course, being that you want to simplify everything, we have also something that we can introduce that's called the master key. The master key is going to be handed over to management personnel, so if there's any sort of important things that needs to be done, especially after hours, a master key can be held by management personnel to gain entry to the property of any unit. And the wonderful thing about this is, let's say someone loses their key, and they have to gain entry and it's after hours. Generally speaking, the general procedure for this would be to call a locksmith, which would cost lots of money, or perhaps someone would have to come over, and if you have an extra key, you can open it, but sometimes you'd have to drill the lock. Drilling the lock and having to replace it is a major cost, and it makes a lot of mess and a massive amount of noise. Highly undesirable. So, using a master key to gain entry makes it a lot easier. But in addition to that, what you can also do is if you are worried about someone perhaps stealing a key, or perhaps you find that the security is breached for one place. Before, you would have to hire someone over to replace the lock after hours, which would cost a lot of money. Instead, what you can do is you can use a control key which is held by key personnel, and all that's needed is that you can insert the key, rotate it, pull out the old core. You can now go ahead and insert a new core into the lock, and now a new set of keys that has already been prepared can be handed right over to the actual tenant. The old key will now, therefore, be completely disabled. But there's one more thing that's even better about this. This old core is not useless. Traditionally, once you replace the lock, you would throw away the old lock and just buy a new one. The best thing about this is that you can actually go ahead and take this old core, hand it to me, then I can go ahead and rekey it during business hours and essentially hand this out with a new set of keys, which therefore allows you to go ahead and have more cores on hand that you can use for future properties and future lock changes. As such, not only do you actually save a lot of money on your service charges, but in addition to that, now you have the ability to save money on new locks as well. As such, instead of having to go ahead and buy a new lock every single time there's a lock change, all you need is to take the old lock, hand it to me, I can go ahead and rekey it for you, and then you can put it back on without losing security ever, without losing time, and without losing any money either. Another benefit of this is if you have any problems with unauthorized key duplications. Perhaps you're worried that someone is going to take the key and go ahead and get it cut at Home Depot, at Minute Key, or any of the other places. The beauty of these keys is that they're actually printed or stamped, "Do not duplicate," right on the actual head of the key. The beauty of this over here is the very fact that these keys are actually going to deter anyone from trying to get a duplicate, but furthermore, even if someone were to go ahead and try to get these keys copied, these keys are not readily available at many hardware stores. Because of the fact that these blanks have to be purchased specially, the thing is, it ensures key control. Even if someone were to somehow purchase these blanks in an unauthorized manner, because of the shape of these keys, they do not fit into regular key machines very well. They do require a special machine to cut these keys. In addition to that, most of the people who actually do have key machines at, let's say, convenience stores and such, they're generally not accurate enough to go ahead and properly duplicate these keys in an effective manner. So as such, when someone goes ahead and rents this unit, and let's say they hand all the keys back to you, you can confidently know that every key that exists for this lock has been handed back to you. The best thing about this is that if for whatever reason there is some lag time between the person leaving and, let's say, the lock change, you know that no one is going to be trying to access this unit with an unauthorized key anywhere else. So all in all, the small format interchangeable core system is going to be a much more durable system, it's much better quality, it's much more secure, and it's much more convenient, which everything put together helps you also save a lot of money. Plus, as an added bonus, these things are solid brass. These are proper commercially graded locks. They're much more durable than anything Defiant makes. So, with regards to quality, this totally beats it. Also, because these are totally customizable, any sort of needs with regards to master keying, anything like that, you can always let me know and I'd be more than happy to go ahead and customize the system for you. So, if you have any questions, you can always contact me. If you want to have a SFIC program perhaps brought into your company, I'd be more than happy to set one up for you. Otherwise, thank you very much again for this for your patience, and I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll see you very soon.